This is the last part to the video. I didn't know my father growing up. About, I want to say, 8 years ago. About 5 years ago. I'm bad with time. But about 5 years ago, I got a call from my big brother from my biological father. And he called me and said, hey, Dad isn't going to make it. So that was rough for me to hear, but I immediately dropped everything that I was doing. It was about a 5-hour drive back to the Houston area, and I hit it. Me and my wife and my dog, we hopped in the car, called my mom. And told her we were on our way. So we're in the car, and about 3 hours into the trip, we're about 2 hours, between an hour and a half to 2 hours away from the hospital where he was. And I get a call from my brother, and he's crying, my older brother. I mean, he's just inconsolable. He's like, he's gone, man. He's gone. And he said a lot of things that I won't divulge now, but it was rough. It was rough to hear. And immediately my heart sunk. I was pretty heartbroken. I wouldn't say devastated, because if you've read this, if you've seen this series, you pretty much know how things have been going. So I'll leave a link. I'll make a playlist, and I'll leave a link in the description. So if you want to catch up and see, basically, how I grew up and how I navigated not having a father, biological father growing up. So I tell my wife, and man, my hands are shaking. It's cold. This is a rough conversation too. But I get there as fast as I can. When I get there, he's still laying in the bed. He looks asleep. He looks peaceful. I can't tell you the myriad emotions, the gumbo of emotions that were going through me, looking at him laying there. Dead, gone, or passed on, should I say. It was rough. But I remember being pretty irritated because there were some people in the room, and I knew they had been there. They'd been there more than me. I had spoken to him about 2 months before. He had just gotten out of surgery. At this point, he was blind. He couldn't see, and I had went and saw him actually 2 months before that. And he was in the hospital, and that was his first time meeting my wife. But of course, he couldn't see. But he spoke to her, and we chatted for a little while. So that was a good memory. But we get there, and there are just some people in there who I all love, but it was just rough because it was a very private moment, and I felt like, they were spectators, and they were robbing me of a very precious moment. So, but course, I didn't say anything. I just sat there and looked at him for a while and thought, you know, reminisced and thought about things. And yeah, it was rough, but we got through it. I ended up going to see my brothers. They were both over at one of my brother's houses. And he's my older brother. And, you know, we talked and we went through pictures, and this is when I saw pictures of me, like, as a little boy sitting on my big brother's lap. You know, laps. And it was crazy to see that, you know, see myself as a little boy. I don't even remember that. I'm like, yeah, man, you used to come over. Yeah, man, we used to play, man. We used to be, you know, aces. Like, and it was just something that I didn't remember. I was so young. I was probably 2 at the time. And just other pictures. He said, man, you sound just like Daddy, you know. And I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, I mean, we look like him, but you look like Daddy. You act like Daddy. You sound like Daddy. You sing? I'm like, yeah, I sing. So he's like, man, sing something, man. And I sung something. He's like, oh my God, you sound just like Daddy. Man, then he played a video of my dad, my biological father, singing. And it was crazy. And he could really sing, you know, and I knew he could sing, but my mom can sing too, so that's really where I thought I got it from. But evidently I got it from both of them. But there were some special moments. He showed me, my big brother showed me this ship that was in a bottle. And I guess him and my biological father, my dad, it's something that they put together. And for some reason I remember it. It was crazy. But fast forward to the funeral. The funeral was rough, but we got through it. My mom was there, you know, sitting right behind me. My sister, my brother, my family was there supporting me. And this is my younger brother who I grew up with. But let me backtrack. It's crazy how, even though I didn't have a relationship with him, how the DNA just rings true. Like how I look like him, I walk like him, I sound like him when I talk, the way I put my sentences together. And, you know, just different abilities that we have. I'm very handy. I can pretty much fix anything. I'm good with cars. He was the same. But it's crazy. It's crazy how DNA just still rings through, no matter what. So, all you people out there, you guys, your nieces, who might not have that father figure in your life, just know that he's there, he's in you. But it just might take someone else to tend to the garden. You know, he planted the seed, but somebody else can definitely take care of the garden. And water it and give it all of the nutrients it needs to grow and produce fruit. And that's what my stepdad did for me. And I hope that have some of those nutrients on this channel. And forgive me if I get choked up, but I hope to have some of those nutrients, so to speak, on this channel, that somebody out there might get some nuggets and, you know, or some nutrients rather, take them in, and it would help them to grow. I mean, there's somebody out there There's people like me. It might be a teacher. It might be somebody at church. It might be the trash man, mailman. But there are people out there right under your nose who are giving you nuggets, who are giving you little nutrients, who are watering you. But it's up to you to take it in. And I'm just lucky that I had it right there in front of me. But I also had other people. I grew up in the church. I had other brothers in the church who, I remember one time getting into a fight with one of my homeboys in the bathroom. We went to the bathroom to fight. And his daddy found out and whooped both of us. And then when my daddy came home, this is my stepdaddy I'm talking about, I got it from him too. But it wasn't nothing for somebody who wasn't my blood, but who had my best interest at heart to wear my hide out, to teach me right, to stop me from doing something wrong. And it's sad that in society you feel like you can't talk to other people's kids, but I'll do it. I'll be in Walmart and I'll see a kid acting up and his mama's trying to tell him. Mostly it's black kids because I just feel, I feel more akin to them, more comfortable saying something without knowing them. So I'm like, boy, you better listen to your mama. There's only been one time where the mother was like, I got it, thank you. And I'm like, nah, you don't got it. But most of the time they're like, thank you, I appreciate that. And the kid looking at me like, Sometimes I'll see a baby acting up in a basket at the grocery store. And I'll look at him crazy, I'll be like, and the baby will like, and just stop crying and be looking at me like, what the hell wrong with you? But anyway, I digress. It was hard burying my biological father, but I got a lot of time to reflect on my life. Because when you go to anyone's funeral, you can't help but reflect on your life and to contemplate your death, and to think about your death. So I did. And I realized that I have to do what's right with my life, so that when I die, I don't have any. So that when I die, I don't have any regrets. And that when I die, I'll find heaven my home. Because I don't want to go to hell. And some people say this is hell, which in a lot of ways it is. But I just, if you're a Christian and you believe, that you have to spend eternity somewhere after this life. And eternity is a long time. Some people describe eternity like looking at a beach and imagine yourself rebuilding a beach grain by grain. How long it takes you to do that? Grain of sand by grain of sand. Just one beach. How long would it take you to rebuild a beach grain by grain? And that is just the beginning of eternity. I thought that was like a very vivid picture. You can look at the lights behind me. I'm pretty sure halfway out there is Mexico. But imagine yourself all those lights going out. And imagine yourself having to replace every single one of those light bulbs. That's just the beginning of eternity. So when I was at my dad's funeral, I thought about that a lot. And so ever since then, I've been trying to pay it forward and just give advice. You know, I'm not going to give it unsolicited, but, you know, I will ask if I can give you some advice. And I'm just a lot more apt to just talk to a stranger, or if I see somebody looking down, hey man, you all right? You know, I'm just trying to shine light. So that was an adversity that I went through that gave me an outlook. You know, there's always, I learned the poem when I was pledging in college. And it says, it talked about the silver tint to the clouds of doubt. I'm not sure what the poem was called. I think it was Don't Quit. But there's always a silver tint to every cloud. And the silver tint that I got is that I just need to do better with my life. I need to quit being so selfish, and I need to build relationships and to reach out to the young people, because somebody did it for me. And that's what we should do. Life is about relationships anyway. So whatever you might be going through, just know that after the rain comes sunshine. And I know that's a cliche. That's very cliche, but just know that there's always a seed of equivocal success. I think Napoleon Hill said, with every failure, there's a seed of equivocal success. So in every negative thing, there's a positive. That's just the way of the world. That's the balance that God laid out. So try to find the positives, even if you're going through what you never thought you would go through. Try to think about how this is going to make you better. Because most of the time, at a minimum, you're going to go through it, and then you're going to come across the path of someone else who's gone through it, and you'll be able to share with them your experience, and it'll help everybody out. It'll make the world a better place. Iron sharpens iron. I'll see y'all next time. And the reason I sound like this is because I'm freezing. It's freezing cold. But I had to come show y'all this view. And I think it's very fitting. For what I was talking about. Because even though it's nighttime, you know, death comes, it gets dark, but look at all these beautiful lights. And it takes darkness for you to be able to see the light. Until next time, Uncle Ro, deuces. I say, until next time, Uncle Ro, deuces. I got these gloves on, so peace, y'all.